Hey, welcome to today's Finding Dad podcast. Today's guest is my dear friend Lance Simpson. What I love about Lance is his story is so similar to mine in so many ways, but his approach is so different in so many ways. I always learn something from Lance when I sit with him. I know you are too. Buckle up, and thanks for joining us. Lance Simpson, welcome to the Finding Dad podcast.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
I can't believe you're here.
I can't either.
I'm so honored and truthfully that you're here because I've been doing life with you now for 15 years? 20?
2004.
So almost 20 years.
20 years. Yeah, 19 years. Wow.
Wow. And we've been through a lot together.
Yeah.
And all of it good.
Yeah. No bad.
No bad.
No bad. No, not that I know.
And all of the things we've gone through, even in just the day-to-day living, has been impactful for me.
Me too. Yeah.
I mean, we are part of a men's group that came together weekly for 18 years.
18 years.
18
when
years.
did you start Dawn Patrol?
2003, I think a year before.
I was there a year before I got there, right?
Yeah.
Up in D3.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it moved. And then, but it was a group of men that came together at 6 o'clock in the morning for an hour every Wednesday. And still happening today. And we gathered the greatest men, young and old, black and white, cops and criminals.
What a group.
And wrestled through life's issues.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I walked away from that a better man.
I did too.
A wiser man, not wise, but wiser. I'm still working on that, getting there. And you're a guy I learned so much from because we are so similar without being that similar. We have the similar background, similar neighborhoods, similar age.
Yeah.
And specifically when it comes down to dad, I think we resonate because your dad, you got to see a couple times in your life. My dad, I got to see every day, but never really engaged with him, but a couple times in my life.
Right.
And so different, but the same.
Yeah.
In brief, what was your experience with your dad, just in general?
Well, as a young, I didn't really know him. I mean, as a baby, probably 2-3 years old, my mom and dad split up. Mm-hmm. He was I could get a lot of adjectives for him, but he was not a good guy. He was a hustler, a con man.
Really? A con man?
A con man. He'd get over on anything he could.
Okay.
He drove,
a man of opportunity.
A man of opportunity. He drove trucks, so one of his many jobs, but he was really good at it. And I think that was back in the day when you could kind of steal quite a bit of stuff with an 18-wheeler. Real easy to back up to one and hook it up and throw the landing gear up, and you're gone in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he did a lot of that. He spent time in prison. I remember as a youngster, my mom took me to see him when he was in Folsom. I was probably 4 or 5.
Really?
Yeah.
In Folsom?
In Folsom, yeah.
What year-ish? Because that's when about Johnny was writing, or he recorded the Folsom.
64.
That's when he recorded Folsom.
It might have been 64 because I was born in 59, so I was 5.
I'll put my fact-checking team on that, and we'll find that out. But your dad was there then.
He might have been there then. And that was, I guess, him and my mom were still talking. And then after that, my mom met somebody else and remarried. I had a stepdad that was pretty brutal, ex-Navy guy that just I didn't care much for. I think in my biography I said probably truly the only guy I really hated.
Really?
Yeah. He was disciplinarian. You didn't do something, he'd go find me a belt, and I'm gonna whip on you with it.
Really?
Oh yeah. And he didn't like to hit you on the bottom. He liked to do the back of the legs and the back.
Torture guy.
Almost like a torture guy.
Yeah.
So my mom was only with him for about 4 years, I think, probably till I was about 8.
Sounds like an impactful little.
Yeah, it was not great. That's when I grew up in Hayward. Like you say, we grew up kind of similar neighborhoods.
Yep.
You were in a part of Oakland was kind of rough. I was in a part of Hayward that, South Hayward.
South Hayward.
Yeah. And so anyway, I never saw my dad until that, I call it fateful. I mean, really the only time I spent with him was between 4th and 5th grade.
The summer.
I got out of 4th grade, and the day after I got out of 4th grade, I'm trying to remember how old I was. 10, maybe?
Not even 10.
Fourth grade,
you're about 9, yeah.
He talked my mom into letting me go on the truck, North American Van Lines. that was stationed out of Soquel, California.
SoCal here.
Right at that warehouse, right if you get off of Soquel and you make that right.
Sure.
I think it's a pot club now.
Yep.
That was the warehouse for North American Van Lines.
One of 55 pot clubs. Thank you.
Okay. And I meant to bring a picture because I have a picture standing in front of that warehouse with my
Really?
dad. Probably one of the only pictures I had, and I forgot to bring it today.
Of him?
Of him and me, and actually my little sister, Lori, who's 5 years younger than me.
And she didn't go on the trip.
She didn't go, no.
So that was
And
probably the
so-
picture your mom snapped when she dropped you off.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, probably was. And so, long story stupid, a whole summer on a truck, living out of a truck and truck stops and hookers and drug dealers and just anything you can imagine that goes on a highway. And living in a truck.
In what year?
16.
60.
I had to be 68 or 69.
Oh my gosh! And you're in fourth grade.
I'm fourth grade going into fifth. And I grew up pretty fast that summer,
I'm sitting here thinking of what your fifth grade teacher must have thought day 2.
Well, I didn't make it day 2.
Oh.
Because my dad kept me 2 weeks longer and my mom was furious. And we were actually back here in Santa Cruz about 3 weeks before school started. He goes, hey, we have another trip back east. You want to go? Well, when are we going to be back, Dad? Well, maybe not for a couple, 3 weeks while I start school and a couple, we'll be back before then. Well, I didn't make it back till 2 weeks after. And it was not a good situation when I got home. So, but just that whole summer and being with my dad, I never really felt a closeness to him because his partner was with us as well. There was 2 guys.
Oh.
The owner of the truck, Al Logatelli. It was Logatelli, North American Van Lines, and my dad. And I sat on a doghouse in a 1963 Freightliner cab over with the small sleeper, and I just watched thousands of miles of road go by and learned how to drive a truck. One of those questions you asked, you would kind of show me was, what did your dad instill in you?
Yeah.
I think the only thing he really instilled in me was a love of big equipment, trucks, semis.
Yep.
Because I've had my commercial license for 45 years now.
Yep.
Got it at 20. Owned my own trucks before and trailers. I love that. I'm in the operators union now. But I think that, and I love it today, but just really how to not live life the right way and get by.
And get by.
Because I was good at it too.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you learned a lot of influential stuff. And then so that set you on a different track.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And then you never saw him again. Is that right?
I didn't see him again, believe it or not, till I graduated high school in 1977.
It's amazing you did.
I did. What do you mean? I was good in high school.
No, I mean, but you learned that track, and I know you were really good in high school. You were the yearbook editor.
Yes, I was editor-in-chief. I was the only one in my family at that time to ever graduate high school.
As was I.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's right. And so 77, I'm going to get my own apartment in Hayward, up there off of East Street, right below Hayward High.
Sure.
And lo and behold, my father was living there, and he was the manager of those apartments.
And you just signed up to get an apartment, and here's your dad.
Here's my dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
That close to you, never reached out to you.
Never reached out. I don't know how long he'd been there, but I got an apartment in there, of course. Him and his wife, he had married a lady, and they ran the apartments, and I had another nice little 2-bedroom apartment for $105 a month.
$105 a month.
In 1977, yeah.
Wow.
Had a lot of money back then.
77, I was at Bret Hart.
Okay.
78, I was at Bret Hart. One block down from that.
1 block down.
Yeah.
We played ball down there.
Okay, yeah.
And so, he was in the managed apartment in front of me. I lived in the apartments in the back, and I'd see him occasionally. And I had, met my future wife, and I decided we were going to get married. And I was I was 18. So a year, I was 19 years old. And I said, hey, Dad, I think I'm going to get married. And he said, oh, that's great, son. Well, he was probably on top of a lot of things. He was a racist, I would say.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He didn't have any, call for black, brown, yellow. Just, the words that came out of his mouth, even when I was a youngster, I knew weren't right. Because I grew up in an area that my friends were black.
Yeah,
And my best friend was a Mexican dude.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I didn't really dig that, but never said nothing to him.
Yeah.
I couldn't. One thing that I was kind of intimidated by him was because he was, about my size. I'm 5'10", but he was just in prison. You do a few things to stay safe. He lifted weights.
Yeah, yeah.
So he was built.
Yeah.
He was pretty built dude, you know. So I didn't really mess with him like that. And I guess I was afraid of him in some way. But I probably after a year in that apartment, one day we got a notice that there's a new management company coming in the building. And I got to go talk to my dad about that. And I think I went a few days later and he was gone.
Gone. Never seen him since.
Never seen him since.
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't know if he died or when he died?
He did die. I had heard from my sister when I was probably about 30, so 10 years later, that she had heard. I have 3 sisters. My second oldest sister said that she'd found out he had committed suicide up in Redding, California. Shot himself.
Wow.
Now, is that true? I don't know, but I didn't even explore it.
No.
Why?
What? Yeah. So I want to ask a couple questions because these things are so foundational for who we are and how we learn to love, and they affect how we parent. We're going to get to how you're parenting, and because how. No, come on. Yeah. You did it different.
Yeah, different. Yeah.
So. Your first wife was, so you mentioned he was a racist. He didn't approve of her.
She was Filipino, Hawaiian, beautiful. Sue, my first wife, the kid's mom. And she wasn't white.
Yeah.
So I could tell he probably
was kind of rubbed or something.
Yeah.
I think I met her.
You probably did
at one of your grandkids, something, or a funeral of your family.
Yeah, my couple nieces passed away back to back. Yeah, she was there.
Yeah,
a couple of them.
Yeah, that's not when I met her.
Yeah, beautiful. We're still really tight.
Yeah.
We got along good after the divorce.
So you get to the apartment and Dad's in the building and he's not even reaching out to you. He's in town. What's that do to you?
I gotta thinking about it now. For me, just because of how I had to grow up, it didn't really. I don't think it bothered me
because it was the buffer of the jerk.
Yeah,
maybe it's like, wow, at least he's better than the jerk.
I had to do stuff on my own anyway. My mom took care of us. She worked 3 jobs to support. I had 3 sisters and myself, and she was my idol. So I just looked after her.
Mom,
I didn't really. Yeah, mom. I didn't really. I got to honestly say I can't. Him not being there, he hadn't been there anyway. So who was he? He didn't want to take time to get to know me.
Yeah. So when you take the trip back east, you don't come back and go, man, my dad's back in my life. Or was it like good riddance?
No. It was good that hey, I got to see my dad. Maybe I'll get to see him some more. But the next time I saw him, and I think I reminded you, hey, remind me of because one of those questions, the worst memory of your dad.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember that.
Well, I didn't tell you because it was still that summer, maybe just a month later, 2 months later. I just remember a real hot day on a Saturday, and my dad shows up with this lady. And I remember it because I was a kid. That was the same lady he was with 10 years later when I got my apartment.
Okay.
Yeah. And he told his kids, my mom was working, it was on a Saturday. I just remember it being real hot, Regal Avenue, Hayward, California. And he says, hey, I got a surprise for you kids. Go back in the room. I'm gonna set it up for you. We're all excited, My little sister's only 3 or something like that, 4. And then my sister a year and a half older than my oldest sister. She was like 16 at the time. And he says, hey, you guys go back in the room. I'm going to set something up for you. And so we're thinking, it's got to be a swimming pool.
Yeah, something. Yeah, it's 100 degrees.
It's going to be great. We're waiting, and I don't know how long it seemed like an hour, but it wasn't, a few minutes. And we don't hear nothing. And my oldest sister says, well, I wonder, what's up? I'm going to go out and look. So she goes out and look. He's gone. Him and his lady that was with him gone. And so is my mother's hope chest. that her mother had given her.
Oh my God.
Orient, jade inlay, real expensive hope chest. It's gone. And I just remember us kids looking at that. Man, no pool, no nothing. And they took Mom's hope chest.
Oh.
And it was just like, I felt something like, man, what an ass.
Yeah.
What a,
And you're, again, 12? No, you're in fifth
This is
grade.
right after fifth
Right
grade.
after that.
So how old are you in fifth grade? 10, 11?
Wow.
Right there.
So
right
he saw
after
that thing when he brought you back to
He
school
knew
or
it was
something.
there.
Yeah.
We had it, ever since I knew it was there sitting in that, corner.
That makes
So
me
that
feel
was
like I needed to take a shower right there. That's dirt.
man.
That's just,
That's
I
dirt.
feel
That's
sticky.
dirt,
I
man.
feel sticky.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
so what's that do to you as far as a legacy or this is part of who I am? Did that ever?
Oh, no.
No.
No, it was, I just really kind of put him out of my mind because I knew I wouldn't like that.
You were not like that.
I'm not like that.
Would your mom freak out?
Oh,
Cry?
She would, cry, pissed, throw things. She was ready to just wring his neck if she
Yeah.
could have caught him,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think she ever saw him at.
Never saw him again.
Never saw him again. I really don't.
Until the apartment.
And then the apartment. It's amazing because all those years have gone by, and I always wanted to ask him, man, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
And I never did.
You never
That's
did.
one regret that I wish I would have.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, man.
Tell me about the hope chest.
yeah,
What were you
what's up?
thinking?
Yeah. Probably on drugs, man. Needed money, whatever.
Yep.
And it's like, man, I can never be like that.
No. Did that drive you when you started having kids? Were you ever purposeful? Like I'm doing, was your dad there? Like I'm going, he would have gone left. I'm going right.
Oh, I totally, man. I know which way my dad would have went raising kids. I wasn't going to have that.
Mm-hmm.
I said that's not going to happen. So I think I did a pretty good job in spite of myself because, what I saw and learned in that summer, it definitely directed me till today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's there.
80s was cocaine, 90s was crank, fast motorcycles, fast trucks, almost a death wish somewhat.
Yeah.
Even when I was raising my kids, like, man, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
But, again, never had church in my life. Never went to church.
Yeah. Never had a sense of moral structure.
No. But what I had memorial structure was from my mom, who was good to the core.
Yeah.
So, I knew what right and wrong was.
Right.
And I had a lot of buddies growing up in Hayward, just as you did in Oakland, that was doing a lot of wrong.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I didn't really want to disappoint my mom. So I'm not going to really get in that wrong state. And it's funny, she taught me how to throw baseball, taught me how to play ball.
Yeah.
So for almost 40 years, I played competitive ball at a high level, fast pitch softball and semi-pro, hard ball. And as I raised a family, as I was into the coke and into the crank and still doing it, it's amazing how you can be a functional athlete. I don't consider myself really ever an addict because it didn't run me, but I was around it.
A user, not an addict.
I was a user. Yeah, of course. I saw at a young age that, on a truck, you're trying to make money. You could try to get 1,500 miles to the next city to unload your load. You needed to get there, and to do that, I saw my dad taking beans and uppers, and then when they were up for 3-4 days, they needed to go to sleep, so they'd take another pill to go to sleep. And I think that's another thing. He instilled the fear to me of taking pills. I don't take pills.
Yeah.
Never was a pill guy.
Yeah, you associated that behavior with
Kind of
pills.
with my dad with pills because that was a big thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and it didn't stop me from as I got older. The cocaine time, and it was just And
so some things you learned from him helped you. The pills,
definitely.
Stay away from that. Some things you learned from him hurt you.
Oh, totally, man. Yeah.
And so your mom became an idol. See, this is an aspect that's fascinating to me because my mom, this is your story, not my story, but my mom and me were best friends. Right. We left my dad twice.
Right.
And then she got sick and bedridden. And so there was a piece of me, I got real, immaturely, but I'm in 6th grade, angry at my mom. It's like, you left me too.
Yeah.
You tapped out, which is nothing. She has no control over that.
Right.
But it's like, so I find myself alone, no sisters.
Right.
And so I think there's a little something different there, for sure. A little cooker, a little pressure,
My mom was my best friend too, I would say. I was the only boy.
Boy,
so
yeah.
I was mama's boy.
Now, I can't see her out on Royal Avenue. What?
Regal
Avenue.
Hayward, yeah.
South Hayward. She takes you out to the street and teaches you how to throw a baseball?
Oh, yeah, man. That's where I get my love of motorcycles, too, man. She rode bikes.
No way.
She had a little Honda 305 Dream, man. That's one good thing I got from that one stepfather was that he had motorcycles. And he got her to ride, and I would ride on the back of her bike. When she would take me down to Tennyson High School where the women had a softball team, my mom played softball, and I'd ride on the back of the bike with her and learn how to play, man.
Single woman, motorcycle driver, raising 4 kids.
Yeah.
Dropping Sonny Boy off at high school. What's that like for a high school kid to have his mom drop him off on a bike?
Well, she didn't drop me off at high school. She was done riding by then, but as a youngster, I did.
Okay.
When I was younger. But she was just a tough lady, man. She still is.
Still is.
Lives with me.
Yeah.
I got her.
I met her a couple times.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
She's 88.
Yeah. I rarely see you talk about her without you getting emotional.
Yeah.
What's that?
Damn. Yeah. How could you not, I always say that in a perfect world, you're 50-50, your mom and your dad, right?
Yeah.
But, man, I'm about 85-15. My mom, 85. My dad, about 15. Now, maybe you can go 80-20.
I'd go 90-10. This is what I heard.
Well, I still, I had a lot of bad habits that I know I kind of got from my dad.
I got you. And your shakeout, you're 85-15.
Man,
yeah.
It's just, my shakeout's my mom. I'm all her. And I'm luckily, but unfortunately, I've got 3 sisters, and 2 of them are the other way around, my dad.
Okay.
They
went the way of dad.
Well.
And never even took the truck ride.
No, didn't take the truck
But
ride.
still adopted his ways.
But adopted some ways,
Really?
They weren't really cool. And even kind of still today kind of struggle.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's their
choice.
It's their choice,
yeah.
man, And I think, you mentioned about kids, I just made sure that I wasn't going to leave the house. I was going to be there.
Yeah.
And I made it all the way until, wife and I were married 26 years.
Right. First wife.
Yes, Susan. And I give her credit, man. She stuck with me that long. You know?
Right.
I mean, really. And
so you were hard.
I was hardcore, man,
Yeah.
And I think to a degree, I probably scared her and my kids, at times. And that's never good.
No, scared them with lifestyle or
lifestyle.
voice,
I had an anger issue.
Yep.
For years, and where'd I get that from? I think we talked at the men's group. I think I flushed that out there. It was because my dad.
Yeah.
I was mad at him.
Mad at him. Which one? You were mad at both of them.
Oh yeah, but I didn't really consider the guy whose name was AC. They called him AC, Anthony something. But I try to put him out of my mind.
Yeah. Okay. Man. So then your dad, you were mad at your dad.
That was more of a corporal punishment thing with him.
Yeah.
I just think he liked to beat on kids.
Yeah.
And so I said, that's another thing. I'll never do that.
Right.
And I never have.
So you're collecting do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there. I'm not going to leave.
Right.
Though sometimes I was an asshole there, but I'm just going to be there.
I'm going to be there, but right. Maybe, yeah.
Yep. And then I'm not going to do that. Not going to beat them. And then where did you learn what you wanted to do? Or were you just pretty resolved on what you didn't want to do? Don't want to leave. Don't want to hit them.
Well, I should have been. I coached all the, a little league, softball for my daughter. I have twins. An oldest boy, Brian's 39 now, and my twins are 31, and did all the coaching with them, and was there. But even to this day, I kind of think about it. I could be closer.
Today. To
sure.
all 3.
All 3, yeah. And they live pretty close by.
Yeah.
Brian's out in Tracy. I just had my 2 grandsons from him this weekend. And
this weekend?
Yeah, I went up to the lake. And
you had them. He just didn't have them.
Yeah, we took them for the weekend up to the lake. But had all 6 of them. But I just can be closer. We could go a month or 2 months and not talk on the phone at all. Not see each other. In fact, until this weekend, I hadn't seen my oldest son since Father's Day.
Really?
Yeah. And no rift.
No rift.
us.
Yeah,
it's just he's got his life. He's doing really well. All 3 of my kids are doing great.
Yeah.
They got careers and they're doing good. And,
good people. They're all 3 great people.
And I just kind of wish they'd come over and say, "Hey, Dad, what's up?" a little bit more. But they got their own life, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not hating on them.
No.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So,
And is that hard?
a little bit. Yeah.
Do you think you should do something about that?
Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
I mean, let's flesh this out because
Maybe
I'm trying to help guys.
No, I want to sit down and have a dinner with them. We need to have a family dinner once a month, regardless.
Yeah.
12 times a year, no matter what.
Yeah.
And we don't do that.
Right.
And I would like to include my ex-wife,
Yep.
Susan.
Yep.
Because her and my new wife, they get along.
Yep.
And we get along. We've done family functions with all of them. We're still tight, and but we're not close. You know what I mean?
Right.
I need to be closer with
Right.
them.
Well, I want to catch something. You said my new wife. You've been with Sienna how many years?
15.
And I love that she's still your new wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the second wife.
She's a great lady.
Yeah, she is.
They're both great ladies.
Yeah.
And they love each other?
They do. They care about each other. I think my first wife, Susan's got a little issue with Senna in that, we raised these kids. Once I moved out of Hayward, we bought the house in San Lorenzo, and it was only a 3-bedroom, 1-bath.
Yeah.
As I raised three
kids. Yeah.
I get a divorce and I add on 800 square feet.
Yeah.
Another bathroom.
Yeah.
It's like
Where was that when I was here? Yeah.
Yeah. Where was that? I think that's still like a little dig. For me.
Yeah.
I get that, but it's cool.
It's cool. Yeah. That's amazing. So then, what are you going to do about that once a month dinner?
I got to talk. We got to have a meeting. And
What's that look like? Because here's what guys they get. This is a barrier for guys.
Yeah.
We know what we should do,
right?
But then we don't.
We don't do it.
And then 10 years goes by.
Well, it's been about 8 months, and I decided I really need to do that.
Okay.
And I haven't done it yet. So you're right.
So how are we going to do that?
We're going to flush it out.
Is it Thanksgiving? We talk about it at Thanksgiving.
Well, it's going to be before I go to Israel this year.
Okay. And we're going together on the 28th.
That's right. So before that, we will have this.
Is there a birthday or is there a reason you guys are coming together? Is there something?
I'm going to figure it out.
Okay.
I'm glad you're bringing it up today.
Yeah.
I got to put it on my agenda.
Well, I gave the last gentleman that was sitting here homework. I'm going to call you in a week.
Okay.
I'm sincere and say, what are we doing on that? Because I need that same kind of thing.
I like
We're not helping each other grow. Why do we even, come on, we're blowing air.
I like it.
And something's on your heart that's going to make your family better.
Well,
let's do it.
And then, the health issue. I mean,
whose
we got
health?
friends dying. Everybody's health. I mean, my health is good.
Yeah.
Thank God. I had an issue about, and I think that's why I wanted to have this, because I had some issues with my prostate and, the blood pressure and the whole bit. And they went in, found a couple things, removed them, non-cancerous, thank God. And I've already had to deal with some skin cancer on the back.
Yep.
And it's doing good. But, I've got 4 buddies right now dealing with cancer that are stage 4 that are going to die. And it's just a matter of when.
Really?
Sooner than later.
Yeah.
For sure.
We're at an age where it's time to start thinking about, hey, this could be our last year.
Yeah, man.
Anything could happen.
Yeah.
So
that's why I got to go to Israel.
Yeah.
And
can't wait. That's gonna be fun.
I got to do this dinner.
Yeah.
But I am in good health, so I think I mentioned it to the kids. So I have done something, but I haven't followed through.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely got.
So it's already August. So a nice little pre-Israel dinner. And hey, by the way, guys, if I make it back from Israel, I want to do this every month.
Yes.
Not complicated. Can't make it complicated.
Yeah. Right.
And it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like nobody's in trouble.
No.
What do we need to do to make this happen?
Every month, at least.
Yeah.
And then hopefully it can be more.
Yeah.
So.
What was that movie where the guy fakes that he's got cancer? His family hate him, and he moves in, and he doesn't have cancer, but he pretends he's in the bed, and it's kind of a comedy movie. So you could take that route. You could just call, hey guys, we got something to share. And come on over. I got about another 3 weeks. I need to see you.
No, I don't want to do that.
And then they'll all come over panicked. And when you kind of just say, no, I just wanted to have dinner with you every month.
Oh, yeah. They like that.
The day just got a little better, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. They would be pissed, but yeah.
Well, it's not like you stole the hope chest.
No. Oh, gosh. That was my mom. Man, I didn't even want to bring that up to her. Because I was kind of going over some of these questions with my mom. And
really?
Dinner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I didn't really get into that because when I went to the one, what was the worst memory of your dad?
Yeah.
It was probably that.
Yeah.
And how could you do that, dude?
No.
You know what I mean?
Hey, what does the word, legacy mean for you? What's that word? What's that bring up?
Man, legacy, just you got to leave something good, good thoughts. I think I'm going to definitely leave some, what they think of me is going to be boy, a whole lot more than I thought of my dad, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, but just doing the right thing, you know, most all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not doing the right thing definitely before I found Christ
Mm-hmm.
in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
And it all changed then because, and you know, as I think back, I knew what was right and wrong, like I said, from my
Mm-hmm.
mom, but to actually do it,
Yeah.
to you know, one of the few things I didn't do, I wasn't a thief. I didn't steal stuff.
Right.
You know, that wasn't my
Right.
thing, but I probably should have been in jail a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I just think I was lucky.
Yeah.
Or I was blessed the
Right.
whole time and didn't
Right.
even know it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And the legacy of the Lord that I am a Christ follower now.
Yeah.
That hey, and that's another thing that I've talked with my kids about too. And I need at that dinner
Mm-hmm.
to be a little more about, hey, where are you at spiritually?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we really haven't talked about that.
Well, you're living right, and that's the important thing. You're modeling what it is you believe.
Finally,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. It's nice to share little regrets too.
Yeah,
You know,
I've
hey, I
got a
should have
few
done this
regrets.
different for you guys. I
Yeah,
want to apologize
yeah.
about a few
Yep.
things. You know,
Yeah.
and that's a nice way to go. I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of success in that.
Totally.
You
I
know,
think that'll
because there's
be good.
humility in that. There's honesty in that. It's not like who doesn't have regrets? Who walks the earth and not wishes they could replay some things?
Yeah.
It's not like you're a loser because you did some things wrong. We all did.
Right. But, you know, to apologize for them, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. My son, my oldest son now, he at 17 years old, we had him emancipated because he wanted to go to technical MMI school.
Your oldest what?
motorcycle. My oldest son, Brian.
Okay.
And we actually moved him into an apartment at 17 years old. He was 4 months shy of his 18th birthday. So he can go to MMI in Arizona, and he learned how to work on Harley Davidsons. That's where he went to work for Arlen Best.
That's right.
And he was on that show, Let It Ride, and he you know, was a mechanic on that show, did real well. Now he's actually left there, and he's with Lawrence Livermore Lab, working for the government now.
Wow.
So he's doing real well. But that, I think with him, me and him, you know, I think that I'm going to ask him at our dinner too if there was an issue with us. I think he might have felt we abandoned him
Really?
somewhat.
Like you're
He wanted to
pushing
go.
him out of the house.
Yeah, he showed. Hey,
But
Dad,
you
I'd like
sniffed
to
there
go to
might be a
this.
thing there.
I think there might be a thing there, and we didn't push him out. He wanted to go.
Yeah. But the nights are
just-
gone and I'm 17 and where's my family? They actually they were pretty pumped to get me out of the house.
Well, I wasn't. His mom definitely wasn't. I wasn't either, really.
But he might have internalized it that way.
maybe. Yeah, and so we're gonna hash that out too.
Good.
So, but otherwise, we are not. I don't think
Yeah.
the kids are angry with me, and I'm definitely not with them. But I just want to be closer to them.
Sure.
Because you know, who knows?
Who knows?
Another year or two, we get a diagnosis.
So we're going to, because you're here, we're attracting an audience that needs to have some things you shared explained, like what is a prostate. So half your friends group probably doesn't know what a prostate is. And so that's called a part of, no. And what you know, it's such an abstract term. Hey, in 2004, I started following Christ, or I became you know, sincerely, that's an abstract thing in today. And I think what I've seen in you is it's when I started to recognize there is a creator, he's for me, and I want to have him be the pulse of my life.
Totally.
So that's
Yeah.
because it's such I feel like everything needs to be explained now. Like, what does that mean? Like, now I'm just a religious guy? No,
No,
you're
not a
a guy
religious
that's
guy,
letting the
just
Spirit
that-
of God dictate your life.
What's right and what's wrong,
Yeah.
you know, in an everyday life. I mean,
Yeah.
we all sin, fall short,
Yeah.
but you know, do you choose to do that sin every day?
Yeah.
You know, I love Ron Ritchie. What Ron Ritchie said at one time about sin, he goes, "I'd love to, you know, trade sins. You want to trade today? Let me have yours. You take mine, because I like to take stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
because man, I like to, you know, go ahead and take
Yeah,
my
yeah,
sin
yeah,
for
yeah.
today, my sin of anger. Because the big thing was me with the anger.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, and when I confessed, you know, my faith to the Lord, like I mentioned about having a weight lifted off my
yeah,
shoulder.
yeah.
You know, Kevin
I don't
Moore-
have to be angry anymore.
Kevin Moore on one side, Mark Tyler on the other side, and I really thought they were lifting me up.
Yeah, yeah.
They weren't lifting me up. I just got
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
anger taken away.
How about
you
that?
know? And I've said that. Anger, he took it away that day. Because even, you told the story about these guys at the boat ramp, but I wasn't as angry.
You weren't angry.
I wasn't as angry as I've gotten angry before.
Yeah.
I truly wasn't.
Yeah.
Even though I used their face as a punching bag, I wasn't really mad about it. Like I had gotten mad before.
Yeah, you knew the difference.
At the dumbest things, right?
Yeah.
I knew the difference, and I went, wow, I'm really not that angry anymore.
Yeah. As the ambulance is pulling up.
Well, as they're bleeding.
Yeah.
So that truly, when I say that, when you ask me what that is, man, he heals. God heals.
Yeah, heals.
And he healed that anger issue.
Sure.
Phew.
Good for you.
And even people that know me go, oh yeah.
Yeah, you're different.
You're different.
Yeah.
You ain't got that same look.
Yeah.
Because I'd get that look and people just stay away from me.
Yeah.
Oh,
sure.
Because I really didn't care.
Wow. That's beautiful. So legacy, you are have rewritten your legacy.
Yeah.
Your family's legacy.
I think so.
Your mom must be so proud of you.
Yeah, I think she is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No?
No, she is, definitely.
She got to be.
Totally. She is. I knew I was going to take care of my mom.
Yeah.
She was in Arizona for 15 years, and my fifth stepdad passed away because she got remarried a couple times.
Okay.
Kept dying on her.
Yep.
She outlived him,
Yep.
And so I said, Mom, you got to come move here. So I have that little in-law unit
Yep.
that I put together in the back.
Yep.
It's great.
Is she still driving to Vegas or something? Wasn't she driving?
She doesn't drive that far anymore. I don't let her she lost sight in one eye about 6 months ago. So I only let her drive around town.
Okay.
And I only let her drive the Cadillac.
No more.
No, I let her drive.
Oh, you let her drive the Cadillac.
Oh, yeah. It's bigger. If she
88?
hits anything. What's that?
She's 88?
She's 88. She'll be 89 on September 10th. She'll be 89. I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's I'm blessed, man. It's
Yeah,
cool.
you are.
It's cool.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
And so, last question. I want to ask this correctly.
Oh boy.
No, it's not a big deal. It's a good. We're going to bring the plane up now.
Okay.
We're going to bring the plane up. What would you tell? Well, this is an obvious answer. What would you tell Lance when you rented the apartment and your dad was there as the manager? You got your brand new girlfriend. You're going to be your wife. We can never go back in time, but if you could just meet that Lance in the elevator or in the parking garage, what would you tell him that you know now? Because so much of your life's still going to unfold.
Yeah. Get to know who your dad is. Ask some questions. Don't be timid or afraid. Just, hey, who are you? Why'd you do these things?
Yeah.
Do you even like me, or were we just an afterthought?
Right.
To be, yeah. But at the time, maybe I didn't want to know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you're asking me that now.
Yeah, that's what you would say.
I would have
Get to know.
said that. Hey, I need to get to know you, man. And I got a feeling, just from what I do know of him, he would have just shrugged it off like he wouldn't have wanted to do that. Probably. I mean, I'm speaking for him, but I think I would have just said, hey, if someone would have said to me in an elevator, hey, what are you going to do? I need to get to know this guy, And I didn't really make an effort to get to know him, but he didn't make an effort to get to know me. I don't think, So.
I think that's a good observation on your part. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think he made an effort.
I don't think he made an effort.
I don't think.
The times where I remember being him around, it's kind of, you asked, the first thing that little list you had was describe your dad in 10-ish words.
Yeah.
Well, narcissist would probably be number one.
Okay, me first.
Deadbeat.
Yeah.
Drug addict, thief.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
Asshole. I don't know. Where else could you go with that, right? I mean,
sexist words.
And I don't think I'm any of those things.
Yeah, no, you're not.
So I think
You're one of the most generous, giving, loving men that I know. Period. Period.
We talk about our gifts. Well, I think that is my gift of serving.
Yeah.
Helping out.
Helping out.
Yeah,
There's
I love it,
nobody
man.
you haven't helped that I know. You're just love it. You wake up to help and serve.
Yeah,
And your
why
family
not?
and your mom and
Sure.
just everybody.
Well, that just makes me feel good, man. I think that's what God wants us all to do. Right?
That's
Jesus
pretty
wants us
clear.
to
Pretty clear.
pretty clear.
Get over yourself and start looking around and help somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it,
Yeah.
the
The outcome yeah.
Hey, man, I don't want to do it for money. I don't really need the money.
No.
I mean, we all can use money, but money's never been a big part of it. And that's another thing. I think my father was always after that dollar, the next big
hit, big score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I spent my life trying to get to know my dad.
Trying to get to know.
Yeah. And so it's interesting. You went the other way.
Yeah,
And
I
when he died, I probably wrote him over 30 letters, and I'm not a letter writer. And they were embarrassing to even read the letters because of my penmanship and spelling and the whole thing. And it just, hey, Dad, what's the problem? What's the problem? I found a letter that I wrote to him my sophomore year in high school. I was going to work at Burger King. And I said, hey, Dad, I'm going to be home after midnight tonight. I'm closing Burger King. Something happened today. I don't understand. Can we talk about it tomorrow?
And you wrote that
I
letter?
wrote that, left it on his chair next to his vodka stand where he drank his stuff, and tried to nip that in the butt. Hey, what's going down? When he died, he had every letter I ever wrote him.
Wow. He kept them.
Kept them, including that first one. Because I always start to wonder, did I try enough? Did I do enough?
Yeah. Wow.
And it was like
you
a
totally
gift.
did.
It was a gift that I found those.
Wow.
Because in my mind, I tried.
He didn't throw them away, huh?
Didn't throw them away and didn't respond to it.
Wow.
We never had a conversation.
But you never brought it up again after you wrote.
I might have. Who knows? Who knows what it was? Chaos,
Yeah.
man. That whole thing.
Right.
But so anyway, so I think a lot of my anger and disappointment and control and all of my issues that leaked through my dad's situation is because I went too far with him trying to figure it out.
Okay.
And so who knows how it would have shaken out, but
your dad was an alcoholic too, right?
oh,
He
big
drank.
time.
Yeah.
Oh, big time. Not a thief and not all that other stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But and then I did ask him on the wharf in Santa Cruz. There was a time where I was writing, hey, dude, can we try? And it was the only time we met in Santa Cruz to try to resolve what the heck's happening. It was after he started to ignore my kids and just not around. It's too far to come, 3 hours to come see the kid. What?
Yeah.
Like, what?
I remember you talking
And
about
I remember
that.
saying, why did you even have me?
Wow.
Like, why did you? I mean, I never felt like you wanted me around.
Yeah.
And he says, well, me and my girlfriend got pregnant and I didn't have the money to drive to Tijuana to get an abortion.
Oh, man.
So we got married. And I went, all of a sudden his parenting skills went through the roof. Thanks for not killing me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right? Didn't want you in the first place, but...
But then I said,
Wow.
well, why did you guys stay married? It seemed like you hated each other your whole life.
Yeah.
He goes, because when you were born, we fell in love with you.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so we wanted to do everything we could that we thought would be best for you.
Wow.
And I thought, well, I went through hell, but it was the only time I really remember ever hearing my dad say, "We loved you."
Wow.
And I say both those things because in a way I asked him what was the problem. And that was a source of frustration for 30, 40 years.
Right.
And then I asked him a hard question, and it's, in my mind, my dad's last words. Because as you know, the last words I ever heard my dad tell me was, "You were always a shitty son."
Right.
Those, I'm not going to give you the privilege to tell me what kind of son I am.
Right.
And in my mind, his legacy and his last words were on that wharf.
Wow.
We loved you.
Yeah. That's
You know?
cool.
And so I'm saying that because what you would have told 20-year-old Lance has a negative and has a positive. And so I wish you would have done that. And I think whatever the outcome, I think that's really good for all of us to do, is get to know the men who are trying their best.
And,
Or maybe not trying their best.
Was he trying his best?
No, he wasn't. Clearly he wasn't.
It wasn't.
But doing what he experienced or doing what he knew, which is painful too. Why didn't you at least try? This is not your best.
Yeah, true.
Like
I never really got a chance to get into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a regret too. We have regrets.
I was at juvenile hall a couple months ago, and I go up there every other Sunday night and telling some kids all about dad and my dad, and we all know each other now and love each other, and we all know each other's stories and all that. And this one little kid, he's 14 years old, he's already got a kid.
Wow.
He's in there
14.
14, he's in there for murder. And he's the sweetest kid. like huge, bigger than me. Everybody's bigger than me. This guy's like
Wow.
and just a great kid in temperament. And he says, hey, raises his hand real polite. Like, you don't have to raise your hand. I mean, it's like, we're in prison here. You know.
Yeah.
He goes, could it be your dad didn't raise you right because he wasn't raised right? He just didn't know how to do it?
Wow.
I thought, Kevin, dude, where were you 40 years ago? You
Yeah,
could have saved me
right.
$55,000 in counseling, dude.
Well, and I think you had mentioned it about writing him a letter. I think back in a men's group or something. And I wrote my dad a letter, but I knew he was dead.
Yeah, but still,
But I wrote it.
you got it out there.
Saying, hey, I forgive you.
Yeah.
Because you said that before.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't know what they went through.
We don't know.
I know he was born in Texas, raised in Texas, but he had 3 other brothers, and I actually met the 2 older brothers, my Uncle Jim and my Uncle Joe, at one time when I was, real small, but they were nothing like him. They were professional guys.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So who knows what happened?
I think my dad was just the black sheep.
Wow.
The black sheep of the family, man.
Wow.
And,
might have been treated as such.
It might have been.
Might have been a Jacob Esau thing.
Yeah.
Where dad preferred the other 2.
Yeah.
And he knew it.
Yeah.
And, who knows? Who knows? So anyway,
knows?
so good perspective to have. I
But
said,
that
thank
was
you,
a
Kevin.
great idea because I remember writing that letter, sealing it, and didn't remember because I didn't know where he was at. They just put his name on it. And then I ended up opening it up later and reading it. I still probably have it somewhere,
Yeah.
But it was good for me.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Forgiveness
yeah,
is good for
yeah,
you.
exactly.
And when you think of your dad now, you're not thinking of the hope chest gone. You're thinking, I forgave you for that stuff, dude.
Oh, God. I don't even want to mention that to my mom.
No.
I don't want to bring that memory up.
No. No. And she probably would have been donated to the Salvation Army anyway.
I don't know.
You don't know?
She really loved
She
that
loved
hope
it.
chest, man.
Yeah. Lance, I can't thank you enough for making the trip down
Hey,
here.
man, you're welcome.
I'm so pumped. You're part of my life,
Yeah.
and a big part of my life. I can't wait to get to Israel with you.
Yeah.
I hope you don't snore.
Well, are we going to really be roommates?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah.
That ought to be an adventure.
Yeah. Peace out.
Okay, baby.